New Year resolve. Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market rallies despite geopolitical unrest and the promise of another crazy year courtesy of Donald Trump. What to watch? As 2026 gets underway, we break down the key crypto catalysts that could get the market moving again. And we'll bring you the tweets of the week, more TA from Lewis, and the conclusion of our portfolio competition. This is the Coin Bureau News, live. Hello everyone, a very happy new year to you one and all, a very happy 2026. It is good to see you again for what, yes, is going to be another crazy year. Nick, how are you doing, sir?
Good, man. Happy New Year, guy. Seems like we're getting off already to a bit of a strong start, right?
An interesting start.
Hopefully. Yep. Don't jinx it. Touch wood.
Don't jinx it. Yep. It has, there's kind of a slight sense of, oh shit, here we go again about it.
Yeah, we're too jaded. We can't have too much of a good thing. We are allowed good thing, guys. We are allowed it.
We are. You just know that everything that went on at the weekend and is kind of still going on, you just know it's going to be another eventful year, right?
That's how we started the year off. An invasion of a sovereign nation by the biggest military power in the world. Can you imagine what 2026 is going to be like?
It's going to be a wild one. So we will be looking ahead to 2026 in the second half of the show today, some of the big things to look out for. And of course, we're going to be breaking down the last week as well. But it's kind of good to be out of that whole sort of festive period now. I always find it a bit disorientating. I'm not a big fan. Once Christmas is done, I'm sort of like, let's just get on with it again.
Yeah.
But and that's exactly what we're doing today.
Exactly. Starting off with a bang for the first Monday live stream of 2026.
Absolutely.
So before we dive in, guys, firstly, please hit the like and the subscribe button. We're not going to even tell you what we're going to do at the end because you guys have been very far off the 1,000 like number before. So we're just going to beg for the likes.
We're not going to incentivize you. We're just going to ask you very nicely, very politely to please hit the like button.
But if we do hit 1,000 likes, we'll review some portfolio alpha. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell as well. And then at the end of the stream, of course, you guys have been here, I've been following for the past quarter. We've got the BitGet competition, which is now completed. And we're going to let you know about how we're going to be choosing the winner at the end of the stream, as well as revealing where we're at in terms of the actual portfolio value. Because I believe, given your choice last week in buying some Bitcoin, we could be close to break even.
We are pretty close.
Wow.
You guys have actually done pretty well. I mean, if the first rule of investing is not to lose money, you're almost there.
Given that Bitcoin was down by 20-something% in Q4, it's quite impressive. So well done, guys.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll get onto that in a bit. But let's kick off with, of course, a look back at Bitcoin last week. So on Monday, indeed, true to form, Michael Saylor himself bought some Bitcoin. Not a massive bag, but decent.
Just a nibble. A little Christmas nibble.
Exactly. Just got to stack up his last buy for 2026. On Tuesday.
Yes, we had Metaplanet also buying. They added actually a fair bit more than Saylor did.
Almost 3 times more.
Yeah.
And also on Tuesday, we got the news that Powell's replacement will be coming soon. I would announce replacement probably in January.
That's Trump on the phone to him now in front of the giant Christmas tree.
Exactly.
Yes, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the new chair of the Federal Reserve, whoever that's going to be, because that is obviously going to be very important. And on the topic of the Fed, we also had the FOMC minutes last week as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the minutes revealed exactly what was said. And it was, as we'd expected from the actual press conference, it was a hawkish cut. So although we got the cut, they were slightly hawkish on inflation. And it showed basically the division between the governors, although they did say that the balance of risk was now on the labor market front.
Okay. Now, on Wednesday, we had some news that I must say I always hoped I would never hear. And that is that David Beckham's biotech company had paused its Bitcoin buys. I mean, there's a lot to unpack. Did you know David Beckham had a biotech company?
I did not know.
I'm sorry, I must correct myself. It's Sir David Beckham.
Sir David Beckham had a biotech company. I did not know that. But the fact that Beckham bended Bitcoin, bend Bitcoin like... That's mad, bro.
Yeah. So this is do not adjust your sets. This is a biotech firm co-founded and by Sir David Beckham. They apparently hold Bitcoin, although they're not buying anymore.
Yeah.
So they've paused their Bitcoin buying.
If even David Beckham is stopping to buy Bitcoin through his biotech firm, which we did not know about, then
if even Bex is bearish, bloody hell, we're buggered. Yes, they didn't have a very good quarter.
Well, Q4 wasn't a good quarter. Well, we ended the year down. So this was Wednesday, was of course New Year's Day.
Yes,
that's how crypto aficionados generally spend their New Year's. But it ended the year down 6.2% Bitcoin, and it was the second worst quarter ever on record at 23% down.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great.
That's great.
I mean, that's just lovely, isn't it?
Lovely, yeah.
But we, new year, new CME gap, right?
Indeed,
we did get another one of those. Where's
did.
that at then?
That one is, I think, around the 87K or 711. But it was a gap that opened up to the downside because we had New Year's Day, no trading, obviously, on the CME. So we did open up a gap, which is still left unclosed. And again, on Thursday, new data was revealed by CryptoQuant that there is long-term holders are again accumulating, which is good to see. So there was a net accumulation of 10,700 BTC by the long-term holders. The long-term holder supply chain increased.
Okay, and then as the week drew to a close, Bitcoin broke above 90K again. So there was definitely a bit of optimism in the chart, and Strategy as well was feeling the good vibes. It raised its dividend on one of its several preferred stocks
on the stretch preferred. Yeah, exactly. 25 basis points to 11%. Not bad returns. Not bad returns for, in terms of like stable returns. So it seems as if you are a Strategy shareholder, if you held the preferreds, you're in a way better position than if you hold the common.
Okay.
Because the commons are down 45%.
We don't want to mention that. Then the weekend, as far as I remember, nothing much happened over the weekend, did it? It was fairly quiet, fairly uneventful.
Fairly uneventful. Of course, there wasn't really exciting that happened, of course.
Yes, there was.
There was. So it was Bitcoin's 17th birthday, the block. 17 years since the first
How
block.
could we have forgotten?
Yeah.
17 years old Bitcoin. Yep. It's entering arguably its most troubled stage of life. It's apt to steal its father's car, go joyriding, start experimenting with various substances, discover other cryptocurrencies, try and do things with them.
Are you speaking from experience here or something?
Look, I'm just, this is just how life plays out. Bitcoin is in the tricky teens.
Okay.
It's only going to get more complicated. It's going to get more volatile, more acne prone. Oh, it's got a tough few years ahead of it.
Fucking volatile, hey. Wow, yeah. But something else did, of course, happen the weekend. It was the capture of Venezuela's Maduro. Crazy stuff. And this is actually a live picture of Maduro waking up.
That is absolutely brilliant meme. Props to whoever made that,
bro.
Wonderful.
But Bitcoin did nothing, which is crazy. You would think to yourself, like on a weekend, no less, when you have such a geopolitical earthquake happening and you've got this going on, that Bitcoin, which is supposed to be a risk-on asset, would have collapsed. And I was I found this kind of sus, the fact that you don't have any movement in Bitcoin. So it's kind of like, when is it coming?
Yeah.
When is it coming?
Because I think you could make a convincing argument for either side, couldn't you? For volatility either side, you could say, well, it could crash because, it's a risk asset and people would be kind of panicking. Or you could even make a case for it to pump because, it's a hedge against geopolitical uncertainty, or at least, it was. Maybe that narrative's a little outdated at the moment. But
if Bitcoin traded last year, like Bad Luck Brian, that meme, it's kind of like when it was a risk off. It basically sold off when gold rallied, and it sold off when equity crashed. So it doesn't matter what, it's risk on when the markets are crashing, and risk off when they're not. So that's why I was kind of suspect,
Yeah. So, it was interesting. Obviously, this kind of Venezuela business has been brewing for a few weeks now, ever since the US started sending increasing amounts of hardware to the Caribbean. But I think this kind of caught everyone by surprise, not least Nicolas Maduro. It was kind of mad, wasn't it? They just went in and snatched him in the middle of the night.
Apparently, there were also like at least 10 Chinese dignitaries there as well to meet with Maduro.
Really?
Apparently, they were there meeting with Maduro. They arrived the day before to meet with him and discuss,
Discuss, whatever it is Chinese and Venezuelans discuss.
Sorry, guys, where's Nicholas? Guys, sorry. He's late for the meeting. Is he late for our meeting?
Gosh, that must have been quite awkward, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Anyways, back to cryptos. Saylor may either be buying or stashing fiat. We don't know yet because he alluded to either green or orange or green. So as we know now orange means he bought more Bitcoin, and green means he's stashing more fiat to pay for the long term to pay his dividends. So let us know in the comments if it happens during the stream, guys, which one he's decided to go with. Mm-hmm. So what's coming for this week on the macro front? We've got the first jobs report coming out on Friday, the NFP numbers. So we'll talk a bit more about that. And looking at the charts, indeed, because we did have a bit of a pump over the weekend. Yes, of course, I'm not going to give up on the CME charts just yet. It's only a few more weeks until we have 24/7 CME trading, and then you'll stop hearing me talk about the gap.
And then you'll complain. You'll be like, "Why isn't Nick talking about CME gaps anymore?" I used to love it. I only tuned in to hear Nick talk about CME gaps. And look, if you watched our video on CME gaps, or just listened to Nick blithering on about them for the past year or so, you'll know that it is a pretty straightforward short opportunity.
Past 6 months, short or long, past 6 months has been quite accurate. So, anyways, guys, just saying.
But we have got some more bullish signals, right?
Yeah, well, one is the golden cross on the 4-hour chart, where the 50-period moving average is about to cross over the 200 period. Now, the golden cross is generally used on the daily time frame, but it can also be used in shorter time frames just to give an indication of shifting momentum. So momentum is looking good in the short term. And indeed, on the daily chart, we have had 5 solid days of gains, right? And we now obviously are above the CME gap, and we are also above the 50-day moving average, and we are approaching that key resistance, which is the Fibonacci 61% retracement level from the all-time high, and it's also a previous zone of consolidation. So that's at the $94,000 level. Let's keep an eye on that. And if you guys want to trade this Bitcoin, these Bitcoin moves, then the best place to do that is over on 2Bit, which is a top-tier international exchange. They're one of our brand partners. And if you haven't gotten a 2Bit account and you want to start trading, first of all, to sign up and create an account is super simple. All you need is an email address. So you can just go and sign up using this QR code or the link down below, create an account. All you need is an email address. And if you do want to trade and want to use 2Bit, then you can also avail yourself of the bonuses and discounts we've got exclusively for the viewers of this channel. And that's 90K in trading rewards and VIP level 1 instant upgrade, which is basically giving you 50% off trading fees for life.
Oh, yeah.
So go and check it out.
The goat approves.
The goat
approves. Fantastic.
So go and check it out, guys. 2Bit QR code or link down below.
Yeah. Okay. I will just give you a brief overview of the sentiment. Rene reckons this is a bull trap. Shout out, thank you to everyone who's wished us a happy new year, by the way, and a very happy new year to all of you as well. Let's make it a fantastic one. Meanwhile, someone pointing out, whenever they make a video, positive video on cryptocurrency, market dumb very hard.
Dumb very hard. The market is dumb. Yes,
the market is dumb very hard.
The market should follow us. Come on, guys.
At DGen Assets is pointing out that crypto often goes up in the beginning of the year. No more tax optimization. That is true.
Tax loss harvesting, closing out portfolios. It's not just crypto generally. It's also kind of like, sometimes something. So traditional assets as well. So let's see.
I like this. This is nice. Liked you just because you're you. You are amazing. No need for giveaways. That's nice, isn't it? That's nice. Very lovely. Meanwhile, someone's saying out that Beckham's company was giving merch at BTC Mina. Ben Cowan went to that. He should have gotten to pick some up.
So they literally went to the Bitcoin conference. When they were done with the conference, it's like, God damn it, we're not buying another single Bitcoin after that conference.
After seeing what these Bitcoiners are really like, we're not buying another sat.
Just dump it.
You're going to stop.
Dump it.
Someone wanging on about the UK being a failed state. Guys wearing white shirts because of his vagabondness. And then it's just a bunch of tickers. Yes, gains like my waistline over December. I know it's
a tough one, guys.
It's been tough, yeah.
I can't relate, but...
Fortunately, though... If you follow crypto, you spend so much of your time fretting and worrying, the weight just falls off. One look at my portfolio is enough for me to drop several pounds just like that.
Let's not talk about money right now, shall we?
Let's not be so vulgar. Let's not be so vulgar. Okay, so 2026 is upon us. There are lots of things coming down the pipes that we need to be keeping an eye out for, because any one of them could kind of get the market moving again. And especially if we get a kind of confluence of these factors, there is a very good chance that, we could see the market moving back up again in the coming months.
Q1, yeah, exactly. Because Q1 has historically been a bullish quarter, on average, about 47%. So that's the pro. The con is, well, I believe Q4 was also supposed to be bullish, historically on average, which,
Yes, if the last few months have taught us anything, it's that past performance is not indicative of future returns.
Yeah, man, we're in a new paradigm. Anyway, so what are we're going to start and look at some of the macro potential catalysts for Q4, and then we'll look at some crypto-specific stuff for a few cryptocurrencies. So on the macro side of it, obviously, big one, Fed rate cuts, right?
Yeah. As Nick pointed out earlier, the minutes came out last week, said the Fed was still hesitant of cuts. Powell and co. really don't want to cut unless they absolutely have to. Yeah. And it seems now that the main driver around future cuts is they're not focusing so much on inflation anymore. The focus is now on employment, right?
Yeah, the risks and the downsides on employment. And that's why it's an important week this week with regards to the NFP numbers. And if unemployment rose again in December, this is pretty interesting because this could potentially trigger what is known as the SARM rule. And it's another benchmark that could potentially be used to define whether we're in a recession or not. So that's something that could potentially happen.
Okay.
And this is potentially why some market analysts think that we're likely to get a surprise cut, including Mark Zandi over there.
Meanwhile, if we have a look at the Fed Watch tool, I think we've got, it's saying a 62% chance of a cut in Q1.
Yeah, so that's what we could see. Now, latest, keeping with the Fed theme, as we mentioned in the rundown of last week, Trump is going to name a new Fed chair in the next week or two. And this will determine what's going to be happening, at least in terms of like what the Fed chair himself is going to be bullish, not dovish or hawkish. And right now, Kelshi has it almost neck and neck between the two Kevins.
Yeah, this is interesting. So Kevin Hassett and Kevin Warsh. I think it's fair to say that they have, they're not exactly the same, when it comes to their views. One's more dovish than the other, I think.
Yeah, and they're also some are being quite contradictory. Like Kevin Warsh has been quite hawkish in the past about QE, about the Fed, whereas now he's kind of like changed his tune because Trump is basically considering him for the role. Mm-hmm. Either of them, whoever it is, Trump has made explicitly clear in this post he put out last week that whoever is Fed chair, they're going to do as he says.
Right.
Which is okay, but he still needs to understand that you can't control Federal Reserve policy just with the Fed chair, right?
I don't think that line of reasoning is going to stop him. I mean, I think it's he's got his own ideas about how
going to get Delta Force into the Fed building.
Yeah, exactly. maybe this whole Maduro thing was just to demonstrate to the incoming Kevin at the Fed. It's like unless you cut rates and juice the markets like crazy,
you're going to get a Chinook helicopter flying over your house, bro.
The guys will come to your compound and spirit you away to New York to answer questions. But yeah, I mean, look, whoever replaces Powell at the Federal Reserve, you've got to think, they are going to be under a lot of pressure from Trump to cut interest rates. And as we get closer to November and, of course, the midterm elections, can you believe we're getting towards the midterms? Then that pressure from Trump is only going to get stronger. Meanwhile, talking of all things Congress, another thing that we need to be looking out for in Q1 is the possible passing of the Clarity Act.
Clarity, yeah. So this is the market structure bill. It's the big piece of crypto legislation everyone seems to be focused on. David Sachs confirmed the Senate plans to hold hearings on the crypto market structure bill in January, aiming to unblock legislation stalled since mid-2025. So they're going to start talking about or to draft next week, I believe, in the committee itself.
Yeah, so second week of January, and it will have at least one markup on pending market structure legislation in the Senate. And before we move on, I just want to quickly mention one thing that we haven't noted yet, and that is also the SEC's innovation exemption, which is due to be going live. In fact, I think it was mooted to go live today, although I haven't heard anything further on that. But Paul Atkins, the SEC chair, has said that the innovation exemption is expected to go live this month in January. And I personally think this and the Clarity Act are going to be the two really important crypto catalysts to watch, because I think it's going to be very interesting if we do get this innovation exemption, which basically makes most crypto-related things legal from a development standpoint in the US. Then I think it's going to be really interesting to see how crypto projects, and especially US-based ones, react to it. Like, what sort of changes do we get? What sort of what sort of benefits are going to accrue to token holders? How brave a project's going to be in sort of trying to roll out features or benefits or whatever it may be to users and token holders? Because I think those that do, those are the ones that could win.
Yeah, releasing those animal spirits, those crypto animal spirits upon the markets.
Yeah. So maybe, hopefully in next week's news, we'll be able to give a bit more of a rundown of the innovation exemption. Exactly. Hopefully we will be living in that world then. Meanwhile, though, you may just be feeling like you just want to hold your assets close, hold your crypto assets close, not try and trade them in any way at all. And if you want to do that, then we can't think of a better place to do that than with a Tangem wallet. We have got a delicious Tangem wallet deal for you. So if you scan that QR code, you get our special deal. Plus, you get a $10 BTC reward as well.
And also, your information won't be leaked in a database leak. Some hardware wallets do that.
Yes. Yes. So that's nice. And yeah, I can tell you that using a Tangem, if you haven't used one before, they're an absolute delight to set up and use. They function both as a hardware device and as a web wallet as well. Very, very useful piece of kit to have. Okay, so what else have we got to look out for in Q1 then?
So now let's take a look at some things that could affect three very big altcoins. And these are Ethereum, Solana, and XRP. So we'll start with Ethereum Q1 stuff. Now, Fusaka, which is the upgrade, it went live in early December. That's fair. But its impact window is very much now happening within Q1 2026, which is why it keeps coming up in institutional and ETF-related coverage. And that's because most builders, protocols, and rollups are only rolling out Fusaka-optimized upgrades in Q1. So usage growth lags the actual work.
Yeah.
Fork, sorry.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in terms of institutions, they like to sit out on the sidelines and wait for all the sort of data to come in post-upgrade to see how successful it's been. So if you like, Q1 is a kind of validation phase for Fusaka.
Yep. And it's not just Fusaka. There's some other upgrades that are coming that sits between Q1 sits between these particular phases, and that's Glamsterdam, the first half of 2026, and Higota, which follows that in later 2026.
Yeah, so the evolution of Ethereum continues, and yeah, as we say, it seems to be that Ethereum is very much emerging as the institutional chain of choice. So they will be watching these upgrades very, very closely, and yeah, let's see eventually or pretty soon how well Fusaka has gone from their point of view. But it's not just Ethereum, is it, Nick?
No, Solana as well. So Solana's roadmap features major upgrades. Notably, there was the Alpenglow consensus update, which is launching in Q1 this year. And we also had FireDancer, the long-awaited FireDancer client, which I think went live last year. And it's meant to dramatically improve speed and scalability, especially for institutional use.
Yeah. So we've also got ETFs, of course, for Solana. Now, these launched late last year. By the 30th of December, Solana ETFs were already seeing net inflows, and I think $5.2 million on their first day, which isn't massive in the grand scheme of things, but they have held up pretty well.
They have held up. In fact, in terms of most of the days have been inflows, which is impressive for an altcoin ETF. Now, there's also some price predictions that are out there that we've also shared on our Twitter. So early Q1 predictions, there's the range between $130 to $200, which is quite wide. So, but the one positive there, that is the bear case. If the bear case is the lower end, it means that we're not likely to go that much lower than 130, which is close to where we're trading now. So that means it's up only, hopefully. Let's see.
Yes.
according to whoever these predictors are, whoever they are.
And when have these institutional predictors ever been wrong? Meanwhile, XRP has got exciting stuff going on as well, not least ETF adoption, growing institutional uptake via regulated products. In the 30-plus days leading up to the new year, US spot XRP ETFs saw consistent inflows, including December 30th, $15.5 million on that one day.
Yeah. And also, in terms of talking about supply crunch, there was a sharp decline in XRP held on exchanges. It's down from 4 billion to 1.5 billion coins over 2025. And this indicates a robust institutional demand and a tightening liquid supply heading into Q1.
Mm-hmm. And it's not all just ETFs as well. XRP, the XRP ledger, XRPL, is also expanding. Its next major push is programmable privacy. Lots of people talking about privacy as a big narrative this year. Zero knowledge proof integrations are already being explored. And the first use case apparently is going to be confidential multi-purpose tokens.
MPTs, yeah, Q1. So that's cool. That's something to look forward to. XRP Army is no doubt ecstatic about that. And also, by the way, guys, in terms of these 2026 predictions, we actually have released a like a 2026 Coin Bureau kind of like crypto predictions version, which is actually in our Telegram channel. So if you guys are not following there, you're missing out. This was shared last week. So if you want to follow, just scan that QR code and go and follow the Coin Bureau Telegram channel. We're now sharing a lot of daily alpha, unique away from the news that you guys can get just there, but you have to be within that Telegram channel. So scan that QR code, go and sign up right now.
Absolutely. Okay. Before we move on, can I just put to bed a rumor that suddenly seems to be gathering speed and gathering momentum in the comments? It is not my birthday. Why do people think it's my birthday? Please please do not everyone wish Guy a happy birthday. It is not my birthday. If it was my birthday, trust me, I would be depressed beyond words, and it would be shining through. So please, it is not my birthday. I very much appreciate the wishes. Gosh, these things can
spread like wildfire.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Cool. So moving on, guys, in terms of the BitGet competition, first of all, for those who join in just starting right now to get an understanding of what the BitGet competition was, it was a trading competition which we did in collaboration with BitGet, one of our brand partners, where you would have had to have a BitGet account and traded on it, and also been a viewer of the live stream and engage with these live streams. And then at the end of the quarter, we would give away what was left of the portfolio. So first of all, shout out and thank you to BitGet, our brand sponsor or brand partner. If you don't have a BitGet account already, you can go and sign up right now, scanning that QR code, and you'll get a lot of other goodies as well in terms of up to 50K USDT in bonuses and discounts and as well, trading fee discounts. So in terms of who won the competition, at the end of the stream, we'll let you know about how you can find out. So just stick around for that, and we'll also let you know the size of the portfolio.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, shall we go to some TA from Lewis?
Let's see if he's got a trade for us.
Come on, Lewis, give us a trade.
The way Lewis brings the TA today.
What's up, guys? Okay, so we've had an eventful last few days with a couple coins, at least. We got Pepe over here that is up over 70% right now. And so I'll show you a couple things that look good and a couple things that don't look too good, and why I'm still cautious overall. So looking at Pepe, this looks great. Obviously, you want to see these big moves up. That's awesome. However, I guess I shouldn't say however, I should say, if you look at the bigger picture of Pepe, you can see that for this coin, at least, it's back above this major support area, right? It's like bounced off the support here. It did go underneath of it right here, but like besides that, bounced here, and now it's back above there. So who knows? Maybe it's gonna stay back above there, and this will be the range once again between 5.78 and 13.15, right? That's something that's a possibility. However, there are some other coins like Dogecoin, for example, that look really, really good if you're looking on the, 2-hour, 1 hour chart. Like, oh my God, it's just going up. But if you look at it on the higher time frames, you could see, it actually touched the previous SR flip area, and now it's coming back down. Or another one that I like, which is a fan favorite, SPX 6900. Yeah, okay, cool. It's going up, it's going up, it's going up. But if you just zoom back a little bit, like look at all of this big resistance area right here. And it still has a little bit ways to go before it really hits, this area at around 73 cents for the major resistance. But it's basically a little bit above the mid zone, which is not a good area to long if you're trying to manage your risk or anything like that. Obviously, getting into it down here would have been great. And if you zoom back, at least for this coin, which is something that I noticed, it actually did bounce off of a major support area that it bounced off of multiple times in the past in 2024 and 2025, right? So it does show that you can zoom out on the higher time frames and look for these big areas of support on certain coins. And maybe if the coin does come back down to it, that might be a good opportunity to get into it. But as of right now, a lot of the coins, other than Pepe, which I just showed you, they look sort of like this, where it's a little bit in the middle between the previous highs and the previous lows. And yeah, maybe it's a little bit above the mid zone, but it's not in a really good area where I would want to be longing it just to FOMO in, right? And so for the most part, I'm going to be waiting until something does come to the area that I really want to get in. And as an example of that, I'll show you Monero real quick, XMR. Like, to me, my alert went off when it hit around $470. Why? Because that was the all-time highs in December of 2017 and almost essentially the all-time highs in 2021, almost. And then it was the all-time highs of November 2025. So when it came in and it hit that area again, I was like, okay, that makes sense to look for shorts, in this area because it's such a big resistance, right? And if we have such a big support area on other coins, that's where I want to be getting in, where things just make a lot of sense to me. But if something's in the middle, like how I just showed you some of these coins are, in between the resistance and the support, or the highs and the lows, that's not a really good area for me to take a risk-adjusted trade in. So I'm just going to be waiting until coins come into these really big areas, the same way how XMR came into this really big area and printed a short setup. I'm going to be doing the same thing for longs and shorts for a lot of different coins. Of course, anything could change at any moment, but right now, I still think it's the time to be backtesting strategies, creating new strategies, getting really clear with whatever you're trying to do in this market, and not FOMO into anything or rush into anything too quickly just because we get some pumps in the market on coins like Pepe and some other meme coins. And so those are just a little bit of my thoughts on the market, and with that, I'll hand it back off to you guys.
Cool. So don't FOMO again, guys. And if you want to catch a bit more of Lewis, he's actually going live for his first time on the trading channel later today.
Later today?
Yeah. So in the next 2-3 hours. So you guys go, and if you're not subscribed yet, go and subscribe to the Coin Bureau trading channel. And yeah, Lewis is going to extend that alpha over for you guys exclusively on the trading channel, and you can maybe go and ask him some questions there live. So go and check it out.
How is it, Nick, that Mondays get such a bad rap when nowadays you can watch not one but two Coin Bureau live streams on a Monday?
I know, crazy, right?
It should be the best day of the week.
Exactly.
Monday is the new Friday.
What a way to kick it off, right?
I know.
And the market should rally in response to that.
I'm baffled as to how people can be so negative about Mondays. Okay, let's have a look at some of the tweets of the week then. So, first up, we have this one from Blockgrave. If you didn't nail the whiff to Zerebro to Fartcoin to Silver to Somali daycare owner rotation, then just pack it up, man. Crypto isn't for you. I mean, it was pretty obvious, right?
So obvious, man. Of course. What's the next rotation, man? It's definitely Somali daycare.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on, guys. You got to pay attention. You got to lock in
to the insider to the going long Maduro being captured before on Polymarket. Like, that's the next rotation, guys. If you can't even do that, then what are you doing in this game, bro?
Absolutely. Okay. Next up, we have this one from Nerolf. Hot take that is not hot at all. 2026 winners equals 2025 winners. Perps, prediction markets, privacy, the 3 Ps.
It's not really a hot take at all. I think it's likely to play out like that because in the sense that momentum's a strong force. First of all, perps are one that are on the top of the revenue meta. It seems to be long degen gamblers, right? Which seems to be this now financial nihilistic sector we're in. Prediction markets, because that is also where a massive product market fit is with users, right now. Look at what there's valuations of some of these prediction markets and the volumes and the news. And then privacy, because I think that there's always, especially in the state, in a era of state surveillance and lack of financial privacy, CBDCs and everything, privacy coins are still catching a bid.
Yeah. And there's a lot of development work going on in the privacy sector, I think. I think we've discussed, I don't know if we discussed this in last week's stream, or maybe I was discussing it in the Coin Bureau Club Discord, but it seems probably more like, privacy as a service. I must say, I'm not enormously bullish on kind of older, legacy privacy tech like Zcash and Monero, although, they could both theoretically do well. I kind of feel that we now, it's going to be privacy solutions that are very institution friendly, that are very compliant.
Yeah.
That could be the big winners of this year. So we'll be keeping a lookout for some of those as well. But the 3 Ps, I can see all 3 of those doing well this year. Okay, next up, 0x Sweep had this to say. Someone in crypto can grind for months, lose hundreds of hours of sleep, get rugged 27 times, go broke, go insane, and still wake up believing that the future will be amazing.
I mean, first of all, only 27 times rugged for months. First of all, this is not months. Secondly, it's not only 27 times. But I think, to be fair, it costs nothing to believe. There's no investment to believe, apart from your sanity, your hopes and dreams, which is not monetary value attached to that. So,
Oh, good old Wojak. He just wakes up and carries on. Yeah.
Today will be different. Today will be better.
Today will be a better day.
Today I'm not going to get rugged and lose some money.
Better turn up for my shift at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Okay, and we also have this one from Cypherstein. Cypherstein, this is Ilya Lichtenstein.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know who this is, he was the infamous Bitfinex hacker who was married to the crocodile of Wall Street rapper
Razzle Khan. This is Razzle Khan's husband.
Razzle Khan's husband.
Mr. Razzle Khan.
The guy who hacked Bitfinex for billions and billions of dollars and was living in plain sight in New York, or no less.
Yeah.
And he was sentenced, and he spent, I think, 3-4 years in prison, but now he basically has been freed.
I am not familiar with the First Step Act. Thanks to President Trump's First Step Act. Have you heard of that?
I have not heard about it. I assume it's some sort of an act that gives basically whoever donates the biggest. My campaign gets,
Possibly, yeah. I remain committed to making a positive impact in cybersecurity as soon as I can. Okay. To the supporters, thank you for everything. To the haters, I look forward to proving you wrong. I mean, that sounds like a bit of a threat, doesn't it?
That sounds like it, yeah.
I mean, this is such an odd point we're at in history,
It's going to go and start consulting with the Lazarus Group.
I mean, would you rule it out? Would you rule it out? Like, we're now at a point in history where someone gets convicted of a very serious crime, spends, does a little bit of time for it, and then just comes out and starts and then goes about kind of building their social media profile again.
Oh, it's SBF soon, bro. I wouldn't count it out.
I tell you, the day if SBF is pardoned, I'm leaving this industry. I can promise you. Yes. So Ilya Lichtenstein is back. Will we be hearing from Razzle Khan again? Maybe she'll start releasing new music.
Exactly. Yeah, she's going to start performing, go on a world tour.
Okay. Well, if that doesn't scream bull market, I don't know what does. Any dates for the diary?
I think there's only really one important one. I think is Friday, which is the first non-farm payrolls or employment report for this year. The expected number to watch is 54,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
54,000. All right. Okay, shall we? So, are we gonna close out the trading competition?
Let's close out the trading competition now. Firstly, we need to know we still have the Bitcoin trade on from last week, right?
We do.
So, what is the value of that portfolio right now?
Okay, let me add this to the screen. Is that that's Lewis? Where am I? So, is this us? You got me? Yes. Okay. So here we are on the BitGet terminal. And the full portfolio, hang on, if I go to assets, that will tell us we are in Bitcoin. And the value of that is $4,921.47.
That's impressive to have lost virtually nothing. Well, like a few hundred, like $80 something.
So if I get my premium maths brain on that, that's something like $78 we've lost. Is that $78 and a few cents? Okay. Who let Guy have the controls? Yes, thank you, Brett. So congratulations, guys. You have managed to almost not lose any money, almost break even.
Which is crazy because, like I said at the beginning, the Bitcoin in Q4 was down 20-something percent, 23%. Yeah. So it's basically maybe some of the altcoin tried states they put on also because they didn't full port it at the worst times Bitcoin performance, and they full ported the performance. They full ported Bitcoin when we did have that performance up. So we're close to the entry point of the portfolio, which is great. So better than most people in crypto. So essentially now, in terms of deciding on the winner, we need to match up the UID you guys have used and traded with on BitGet with you who's watching the stream. So if you're watching the stream right now and if you're watching this post and you do have that BitGet account, can you please email this specific email? It's bitgetlive@coinbureau.com. We'll put it on the screen as well. So bitgetlive@coinbureau.com. Email us obviously use the subject line BitGet competition Coin Bureau with your BitGet unique user ID. So it's your user ID number, which you'll find in your account details. And then what we will do is we will then go and confirm that you, of course, do meet the criteria in terms of they have an account and you've traded. And then one of the individuals who's emailed in, we will then let them know they've won and then announce the winner in the stream next week. So there we go again. bitgetlive.com, bitgetlive@coinbureau.com. Email in, let us know it's for the competition, your UID as well, and our team will get back to you, confirm that. And then, hopefully one of you guys luckily going to have $5,000 of dry powder to start the trading year with.
Absolutely. That would be a good start to 2026, wouldn't it? Yes, that UID number, I think, is about 10 digits long or so. Yeah. And as Nick says, you can find that in your portfolio and they give you the option to copy it as well. So email in there. If you don't put the UID number in, you ain't going to win it. Okay? Yeah. That is very important. So Nick, do I have your permission then to sell out of the Bitcoin in the portfolio?
Stable that bad boy.
Stable that. Okay, I am going to do that now. Make sure I'm doing a market sell. We're going to sell the lot. Boom. Confirm. It is done. It is done. Well done, guys.
Well done, guys.
Yeah. We almost traders. Broke even.
Almost better traders than most in crypto, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. You know, because they watch Coin Bureau.
There we go. Exactly.
Okay, so I think that's about it for this week. Let's just have a look at some of the comments. Why didn't we know that it was Crypto Machinery's birthday a few weeks ago? Yes, congratulations, Crypto Machinery. Just to remind everyone, it is not my birthday today. But as someone pointing out, we celebrate anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's someone's birthday somewhere.
Wow.
There we are. Wow. Okay, someone. We always like to hear where people are calling in from. Hello from Greenland. Okay.
I mean, okay, bro.
Could be could be about to get interesting there as well.
Bro, yeah.
And discovering Florida 67, I predict a year where humans intentionally go offline and back to basics. That would be good.
That's what we need. But I think predictor, that's not going to happen. I mean, unfortunately, that's much needed. A digital detox is required for everyone.
Absolutely. The thing to do is to go offline for most of the week and then come back online just in time to watch the Coin Bureau weekly news show and maybe Lewis's live stream on Coin Bureau trading after that, and then go back offline for another week. That way, happiness lies.
Exactly. That's all you need to know about what's happening in crypto, to be honest, guys. That's the only creators you really need to watch, to be honest.
A couple more. The Fed chair role is worse than being a Man United manager. Bit of a poison chalice. Man United have just sacked their latest manager.
After why? Oh.
He was there for about a year, I think. But it wasn't a success. And then Liz is feeling cynical. Question, anyone else find it suspicious that many oil-related companies ripped on Friday, hours before the events of the night? Liz, in a word, no.
No, totally expected. I would have been surprised if it didn't.
Exactly.
Like there's literally someone who knew that they was going to be arrested on Polymarket the day before. So I'm pretty sure there was inside trading going on across the board, everywhere and anywhere. And it's just crime is legal, guys.
Yeah.
Insider trading is legal.
It would be very interesting to go back and to see what Polymarket was saying before it. Like I haven't heard of any big bets being placed on sort of Venezuela related stuff, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if
prior to the event.
Yeah.
No, there was a story about this guy who placed he placed a $30,000 trade on a freshly funded account,
right?
And he made like $400,000.
What was he?
It was Maduro was going to leave president. Maduro was going to be ousted or something prior to end of January or something crazy.
Yeah.
So there's lots of accusations now that it's insider trading going on, because how else would you have known that and put such a big bet on and just and freshly funded account?
Donald Trump.
Of course it's going on, guys. We know it's going on. It's just like, okay, accept it. You're not party to the inside information, unfortunately.
Yeah. People, I think very much agree with us in the comments. Not surprised at all. And Sir Nakas Taco says, I totally digital detox at least once a day in rural Texas. Sounds wonderful.
Oh, man. Beautiful.
Well, you can start today's digital detox about now, because that is all we've got time for this week, folks. But as Nick said, Lewis will be going live over on Coin Bureau Trading shortly. Lots more videos coming to you from our main channel here, from Coin Bureau Finance, from Coin Bureau Trading, etc. So we are starting 2026 as we mean to go on.
With a bang, guys, with a bang.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Exactly. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Let's hope it's up only from here. See you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Lads Lamar grinning like a tool in the gym, listening to the banter. What's up, guy? Nick, appreciate you guys and thank you. Great channel, happy New Year's. Hella informative. Great update, guys, happy New Year's. Spot on Gandalf impersonation. Great channel, happy New Year's. Hella informative.
I mean, so, if everyone's just going to digital detox, maybe we just need to pivot to, could we pivot to gardening? Coin Bureau gardening?
You're taking the touch grass thing a bit too literally, guys.
I think this is what people want. Gardening Bureau.
Well, not everyone has an interest with the garden as much as you do.
But they will.
It's not like
they
a
will once they
fascinating.
start seeing our content.
It's not a